Hey y'all, welcome back to Ramblin' Mama. I'm Lisa. If you're new here and you're into deep dives on true crime, please consider giving me a subscribe. I think you'll like what you see. For today, I decided to go over the Murdaugh timeline because there's so much in the news recently after the trial and the guilty verdict.
Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code -16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty, signed by the foreperson of the jury, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022 GS-15-00594. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code 16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549. Verdict guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury, 3/2/23. 9. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 826. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 864. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Your Honor, the jury has been polled.
Thank you. The jury has been polled and the verdict is a unanimous verdict.
Then with the breaking news earlier this week with Stephen Smith's death being now looked at as a homicide.
Nearly 8 years after Stephen Smith mysteriously died along a rural South Carolina road, his family is finally hopeful for answers.
I hope to find the real reason for Stephen's death.
The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announced it is now investigating his death, initially ruled an unintentional hit and run, as a homicide. Investigators reopened the case in 2021 after finding new evidence while investigating the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh.
Today is going to be a very broad overview of the timeline. I'm going to use subsequent videos to get more specifics about each crime. I took a poll in the community not that long ago, and it looked like y'all were very interested in Alex Murdaugh. I know I still have the Menendez brothers to get to. I'm holding off on that now because I'm looking around for any other info that I want to include, so it's just taking a bit longer, and I appreciate your patience with that. I want you to tell me in the comments below, when did you first find out about this case? I'll tell you when I found out. I watched that chapter's first episode of it, I want to say years ago, but I gotta look back and check my memory on that. I know y'all know Mike. He's awesome. I couldn't believe this was a real case. It seemed like a soap opera, an HBO show. It didn't seem like real life. So I went down the rabbit hole further and I ended up finding the Murdaugh Murder podcast by Fitz News. If you haven't heard of it, I'll link it below. Y'all, they are doing such good coverage to the point where Mandy Matney is actually influencing these investigations. I'm editing now and I realized that what I just said might be taken the wrong way. What I mean is Mandy is calling attention to investigations and they're getting a closer look. And if memory serves me, I believe that Gloria Satterfield's sons might have learned that they were due some money from Mandy's podcast, I think. Oh, and just a little PSA, Alex in particular, his name is pronounced a million different ways. I'm taking the pronunciation from Mandy Matney, who is a local to that area, in addition to being an investigative reporter who's done tremendous work. According to her, it's pronounced Alex Murdaugh. I think I'm saying that right. So not Alex, but Alex, and not Murdaugh, but Murdaugh. I guess it's some local accent thing. I know it sounds weird, but I'm trying to do my best to pronounce it the way that locals do, which makes me think of all those people who go on vacation to Barcelona and they come back. How was your vacation? They're like, oh, Barcelona, it was amazing. Anyway, just a reminder that I am not an expert. This is just based on my own research. Please feel free to do your own research and form your own opinions. And please remember to be kind to each other in the comments below. Without any further ado, let's get into it. On July 8th, 2015, the body of Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old, was found on Sandy Run Road in Hampton County, South Carolina. His death was ruled a hit and run, but his family had lingering questions. None of it seemed to make sense. As far as the crime scene went, he was found in the road, but there weren't any injuries to his body that indicated an impact from a car. So there were a lot of questions that went unanswered.
The Smith family's attorney says his mother is haunted by the lingering concern her son was targeted because he was openly gay.
We think that he did not die on that road that fateful night.
Police initially said Smith was hit and killed by a car after he ran out of gas while driving home. An autopsy report stated he died of blunt force trauma to the head, possibly from the impact of a side view mirror. But the initial report said they see no evidence to suggest the victim was struck by a vehicle.
It just makes no sense to us that he could be struck in that fashion badly enough to cause his death and there be no vehicle debris of any kind whatsoever.
No suspect was ever named, but rumors have swirled that Buster Murdaugh, the oldest son of Alex Murdaugh, was involved. On Monday, Buster Murdaugh spoke out for the first time, calling those rumors baseless and saying, "I unequivocally deny any involvement in his death."
It's a big deal. It was being pursued as just a hit and run and largely forgotten until the Murdaugh trial.
On February 26, 2018, Gloria Satterfield, 57, who worked as a housekeeper and nanny for the Murdaugh family for about a quarter century, died about 2 weeks after she supposedly fell on the front stairs of the family's hunting property. And I'll play that 911 call for you all here. Tell me how you feel. For me, it's very frustrating to listen to this call.
9:24 a.m. 38 seconds, February 2, 2018.
Come here. 911, where's your emergency? 4147 Moselle Road.
Okay, can you give me the address one more time, make sure I got it right?
Yes, 4147 Moselle Road.
Okay, what's going on out there?
I'm sorry?
What's going on out there?
My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up.
Okay, you said she's fallen. She's bleeding from the head?
Yes.
Okay. How old is she?
I'm not sure, like 58 maybe.
Do you know if she fell from standing or not?
No. No.
Where'd she fall from?
She fell going up the steps, up the brick steps.
Okay, so she outside or inside?
Outside.
Okay. How many steps is there?
8.
Okay, is she on the ground or is she up near the top?
She's on the ground. She's on the ground. She's on the ground.
Is she conscious?
No, not really.
Is she awake at all?
Yes.
Okay. Is she just not, like, responding appropriately, but she is awake?
Ma'am, she's not responding.
Okay, I've already got them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down, ma'am. Knowing if she's conscious is one of the things that the medic needs to know if she's responding at all to you.
No.
Okay, so she's not responsive at all.
Well, I mean, she's mumbling.
Okay, so she is somewhat conscious. Is she breathing okay?
Yes.
Is she bleeding from anywhere?
Yes, her head.
Okay, are you guys able to control the bleeding?
No.
Can you
I
put
haven't
a
even
clean
tried.
rag or anything on it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, is she bleeding from, like, her face, the back of the head,
I've got
her
an
neck?
ambulance coming. Sir, ma'am, what?
Where exactly is she bleeding from on her head?
I'm not sure. At the top of her head.
Okay.
Watch it.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
What happened?
She just fell back down. Can I get off this phone so I can go down there?
Can I have your name and phone number? Or are you able to bring the phone down by her?
What?
Are you on a cell phone where you can walk down there
I'm
and
on
talk?
a cell phone. No.
Okay, can you bring it with you so we can ask her some questions about what kind of pain she's having?
Hello?
Yeah, can you ask the patient what kind of pain she's having?
Ma'am, she can't talk.
Okay, do you know,
She's cracked her head and there's blood on the concrete and she's bleeding out of her left ear.
okay, she's bleeding out of her ear?
And out of her head. She's cracked her skull.
Okay. All right, the other lady said that she had tried to stand up and fell down again?
No, I was holding her up. And
Okay.
she told me to turn her loose and she was trying to use her arm, but then she fell back over.
Okay, do you guys know who she is?
Yes, she works for us.
Okay, do you know if she's ever had a stroke or anything before?
Ma'am, can you stop asking me all these questions?
I already have them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down in any way. These are relevant questions that I have to ask for the ambulance. One of my questions is, has she ever had a stroke?
I don't believe she's ever had a stroke now that I know
Okay. Okay, is she able to talk to you guys at all, or is she unconscious now?
She's not unconscious. She's just mumbling.
Okay.
I believe she's maybe hit her head and maybe has a concussion or something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do you know what her name is?
Gloria Satterfield.
You said Sanderfield?
Ma'am?
You said Sanderfield?
Satterfield.
Satterfield. Okay, what's the house look like out there?
It's offset off the road.
Okay.
It's a big house, got a wide driveway.
With a long driveway?
Yeah,
Is there a gate or anything down there that they're going to need to come through?
There's two big brick columns they'll have to come through.
Okay, but there's no, like, gate code or anything that they need?
No, ma'am. And tell them that they can look for a fellow on a 6x6 Ranger.
Okay.
Waiting on them in the road is green. You know what they probably know what the Ranger looks like.
Yeah. You said, like,
Fella's
green.
got on a black sweater,
Okay.
a hat, and pants.
Okay. All right. If something changes with her, if she loses consciousness or anything like that, I need one of you guys to call me back right away, okay?
Okay, well, how long is it going to take? Because this took us...
That I don't know. I've had them on the way since Maggie first called me. They were toned right away.
Okay.
All right, but I think they're coming... Hang on 1 minute. Let me check. They're coming from somewhere on Belt Highway in Ruffin, okay? That's where their station is.
Thank you.
All right, but like I said, if something changes, call me back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On February 24th, 2019, Alex Murdaugh's younger son, Paul, who was 19, drunkenly crashed the family boat into a bridge, which threw several of the passengers into the water, including one passenger, Mallory Beach, who was only 19 years old. Her body was found a week later, and the family would later sue Alex Murdaugh. On April 18th, 2019, Paul Murdaugh was charged with 3 felony counts in connection with the boat crash. He would later plead not guilty. And there was a lot of hate that was aimed at both Paul and his family. First of all, Mallory was very much loved. And secondly, it became very clear that Paul was getting special treatment. And it was very difficult for loved ones of Mallory to observe that and to be afraid of justice not being served. On June 7th, 2021, Alex Murdaugh called 911 to report that his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul, had been shot at the family's hunting property, which was located about 65 miles west of Charleston.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child have been shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Yes, sir. 4147 Roselle Road.
Stay on the line with me,
Please
okay?
hurry.
Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Hello?
I'm still here. Stay on the line. I'm still here, okay? Colleton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot. Mr. Murdaugh, go ahead and talk to Colleton.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Colliton County Communications.
Colleton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot.
Okay, and sir, give me the address again.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennel.
Okay, and did you see anyone? Okay, is he breathing at all?
No, nobody.
Is she? Okay, do you see anything? Do you see anyone in the area?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What color is your house on the outside? What color is your house on the outside?
It's white. You can't see it from the road.
Okay, is it a house or a mobile home?
It's a house.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Alex Murdaugh.
Okay, and did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
No, man, I've been gone. I just came back.
Okay, and was anyone else supposed to be at your house?
No, ma'am. Please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there to you.
Oh, man. Oh.
Okay, what is her name?
Maggie and Paul.
Maggie is her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there to you. Me asking you these questions, don't slow them down, okay? And you sure they're not breathing? Is he moving at all, your son? I know you said that she was shot, but what about your son?
Nobody's. They're not. Neither one of them's moving.
What is your telephone number? And does anything look out of place?
Ma'am, not particularly, really, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
All right, I'm going back down there. Are they close, ma'am?
Yeah, they've been en route with you ever since you've got on the phone with me. I have multiple people coming out there to you. Okay, can you do me a favor, Mr. Murdaugh, and turn on the flashers on your car so that way they can see where the kennels are?
21. Central Zone now station 18. You will need station 15.
Do you have your flashers on for me, Mr. Murdaugh?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want you to touch them at all, okay? I don't know if you've already touched them, but I don't want you to touch them just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
I'd already touched them trying to get to see if they were breathing.
Okay. Well, I just don't want you to move anything just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
Oh. Ma'am, I'm going to call. I need to call some of my family.
Okay. Well, do me a favor for me. Whenever you see the officer or the medics, because they're all coming to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. But we have them come in, turn on the flashes on your vehicle so they can see you, okay? You got the flashers on for me?
I do.
Okay. All right. Just whenever you see them.
Okay.
How old is your son?
22.
Okay. All right. We're getting them out there to you, okay?
And I will answer if you call.
All right.
On June 10th, 2021, Alex's father, Randolph, dies in his home in Hampton County, South Carolina at age 81, and he had multiple health issues at the time. On June 14th, 2021, the coroner determined that Maggie and Paul both died from multiple gunshot wounds. Their death took place sometime between 9 and 9:30 p.m. On September 3rd, 2021, Alex Murdaugh was forced to resign from his family law firm after the partners had discovered that millions of dollars had been misappropriated from both clients and the firm. On September 4th, 2021, Alec called 911 from the side of the road not far from his home, saying that he had been shot in the head. He claimed that the shooter simply pulled up beside him as he was taking a look at his flat tire, and he tried to shoot him in the head. And I'll play that 911 call for you here.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
On Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by the church.
What church? What church are you talking about?
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what end of Salkehatchie Road? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
At the Hampton County side.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire,
and
I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but...
Okay, wait, you need EMS?
Well, I mean, yes, I can't drive.
Okay.
I'm seeing and I'm bleeding a lot.
Where part of your body?
I'm not sure. Somewhere on my head.
Your head?
Somewhere on my head. Somebody just stopped for me, ma'am. For 911.
Okay. Still?
Hey.
Okay, let me speak to him, see if he can tell me exactly where you are.
Where? Salkehatchie Road. Right here by the church. That church? Okay. Red roof. Yeah, hurry, please. Okay, about 2 miles from the pedestrian barrel.
Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm still on the line with you. What's your name?
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay. Stay on.
St. John's Missionary Church.
St. John's Missionary Church?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you give me a description of the person that shot you or shot at you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was a white fella. I'd say
A white male?
A fair amount younger than me. Really, really short hair. You have an ambulance coming, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay on the line. I got them on the way.
You think one of y'all can drive me to the hospital?
Yes, sir. You want to get the truck, though, because I got a baby and these two in the back.
One of y'all could get in this car and drive me?
Yes, sir.
They're going to drive me to the hospital. Ma'am? Ma'am?
I'm still here, sir. They're on the way. Don't hang up.
On September 6, 2021, Alex released a public statement saying that he resigned from his family's law firm and he was going to enter rehab, and he, quote, made a lot of decisions that I truly regret. And just hours later, his firm released its own statement alleging that Alex had misappropriated company funds. On September 8th, 2021, South Carolina Supreme Court indefinitely suspends Alex's license to practice law. On September 14th, 2021, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is known as SLED, said that Alex had admitted that he asked his former client, Curtis Edward Smith, to shoot and kill him so that Buster, his surviving son, whose legal name is Richard, could collect on a life insurance policy in the amount of $10 million. On September 16th, 2021, Alex was arrested and charged with fraud and conspiracy in his suicide scheme. His lawyer said that he was depressed by the loss of his family and he was struggling to stop abusing opiates when he concocted this whole crazy plan. His lawyer said, just let him check into rehab. The judge ordered Alex to surrender his passport and then he allowed him to go. On October 14, 2021, Alex was arrested at a Florida drug detox center, and that's when he was charged with stealing millions of dollars from the sons of Gloria Satterfield. He was then arrested in Richland County, South Carolina, and at that point, he was denied bail 2 times. On December 13th, 2021, the judge set Alex's bond at $7 million. His lawyer said Alex could pay $4.3 million to Gloria Satterfield's family, but he still remained in jail. On January 24th, 2022, a legal claim is filed against the estates of Maggie and Paul by Mallory Beach's mother. 2 survivors also joined Mallory's family in a legal claim in an attempt to get money that they believe are owed to them as a result of the boating accident. On March 16, 2022, a grand jury indicts Murdaugh on 4 new charges related to a scheme to defraud multiple insurance companies involving his friend, who was also an attorney, Corey Fleming. Fleming's lawyer stated that he is, quote, yet another casualty of the host of crimes perpetrated by Alex Murdaugh. On May 4th, 2022, prosecutors announced that Alex is facing 4 new charges related to financial crimes that also involved his friend Corey Fleming. On June 3rd, 2022, authorities stated that they received permission from Gloria Satterfield's family to exhume her body to investigate her death further. This came because her death certificate noted that her manner of death was ruled natural, which a coroner insisted is not consistent with injuries sustained in a trip and fall accident. So both of those things can't be true. On June 28th, 2022, Murdaugh and Smith were indicted by the state's grand jury on 2 conspiracy counts, including a narcotics count related to oxycodone. On July 13th, 2022, the South Carolina Supreme Court formally disbarred Alex, who at this point was facing 84 criminal charges and 11 lawsuits. Y'all, you can't make this shit up. On July 14th, 2022, a grand jury announces an indictment against Alex on double murder charges in the deaths of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. They had video from Paul's cell phone, which not only placed Alex at the scene around the time of the murders, but it also contradicted the timeline that he provided to authorities. On July 20th, 2022, Alex pleaded not guilty to the murder charges of his wife and son. His lawyers said he wanted to go to trial as soon as possible. On August 19th, 2022, a grand jury indicted Murdaugh on 9 more criminal counts related to money laundering and computer crimes. The indictment states that Alex stole money from his firm in late 2020 and 2021, and in 2017, he took advantage of an error in the firm's accounting office, which sent $121,000 to him as a loan repayment when that money should have gone to his brother. On December 9th, 2022, during a pre-trial hearing, the state prosecutor claimed that Murdaugh killed his wife and son to gain sympathy and escape accountability for his string of financial crimes. I know the motive for these murders has been discussed at length because it's not obvious, I think, to most of us. So I want you to let me know down below, what do you think Alex's motive may have been for this? On December 16th, 2022, a grand jury indicts Murdaugh on 9 counts of tax evasion. Allegedly, he failed to pay almost $500,000 in state income taxes while making nearly $14 million over the course of 9 years, bringing his total financial indictment tally to over 100. Okay, after all that, we're finally current to 2023. So on January 23rd, 2023, Alex's trial pertaining to the homicides of Maggie and Paul began its jury selection. On February 1st, 2023, prosecutors played a previously unseen video taken from the phone of Paul Murdaugh, in which you can hear 3 voices in the background, and this took place shortly before the murders occurred. Witnesses testified that they heard the voices of Alex, Paul, and Maggie, which places Alex at the scene of the crime, and it undermines his alibi and his timeline of events that he provided to authorities. And he also told police that he hadn't seen Paul and Maggie right before their murder.
Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not that bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
On February 23rd, 2023, Alec takes the stand. I know y'all have seen some of it. The only way I can characterize it is dumpster fire. Tell me if you have a better characterization below.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you? On the kennel video at 8:44 p.m. on June 7th, the night Maggie and Paul were murdered.
It is.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you lie to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th and told them that you stayed at the house after dinner?
I did lie to them.
Did you lie to Agent Owen and Agent Croft on the follow-up interview on June 10th that the last time you saw Maggie and Paul was at dinner?
I did lie to them.
And in the interview of August 11th, did you tell Agent Owen and Agent Croft, did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes.
Alec, why did you lie to Agent Owen, Agent Croft, and Deputy Rutland about the last time you saw Maggie and Paul?
As my addiction evolved over time, I would get in these situations or circumstances where I would get paranoid thinking. It could be anything that triggered it. It might be a look somebody gave me. It might be a reaction somebody had to something I did. It might be a policeman following me in a car. That night, June 7th, after finding Mags and Paul, don't talk to anybody without Danny with you. All my partners were just repeatedly telling me that. I had a deputy sheriff taking gunshot tests from my hands. I'm sitting in a police car with David Owen asking me about my relationship with my wife and my son. And all those things coupled together after finding them, coupled with my distrust for SLED, caused me to have paranoid thoughts. Normally, when these paranoid thoughts would hit me, I could take a deep breath real quick and just think about it, reason my way through it, and just get past it really quickly. On June the 7th, I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't think I was capable of reason. And I lied about being down there. And I'm so sorry that I did. I'm sorry to my son Buster. I'm sorry to Grandma and Papa T. I'm sorry to both of our families. Most of all, I'm sorry to Mags and Pawpaw. I would never intentionally do anything to hurt either one of them. Ever. Ever.
On March 3rd, 2023, Alex Murdaugh's jury began deliberations and they returned with a verdict only 3 hours later. Our friend OJ had something to say about this. Oh, by the way, my next series is going to be on OJ Simpson, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm reading his book right now. Wild. But I'm going to put his little commentary in here.
Well, I just told a buddy of mine, we were on the phone, and we were talking about this Murdaugh case, and I said, well, I don't know. I think the guy might be able to get some reasonable doubt there. But I said if the verdict comes back tomorrow, he's going to be guilty. If the verdict comes back next week sometime, that means they're probably fighting and there's probably some disagreement in it. The one thing that the jury must have seen is that the guy's a liar, and once the guy's a liar, you can't believe anything he says. Now, I thought, and as I said, I didn't watch the whole case, so I don't know. I'm not qualified to render a judgment one way or the other because I didn't watch it all. But I know the guy's a liar, and it's hard for me to think that he could have been on the stands 5, 6, 7 days and without lying, and I guess that's the way the jury saw it. In any event, it's done. It's over now. Down goes Murdaugh. I'm just saying. Take care.
Alec was punished with a maximum of 2 consecutive life sentences for the killings. I'm gonna try to find some footage of the judge talking to him. It was very poignant. I'd never seen something like that in the courtroom before. It was surprisingly intimate, the conversation, or, you know, mostly a one-way monologue to Alec, but still he was allowed to chime in. But it almost felt like eavesdropping on a private conversation between the judge and Alec.
The defendant would like to address the court, though.
Mr. Murdaugh.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm innocent. I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never hurt my son, Pawpaw.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Murdaugh, if you'll come before the court for sentencing. This has been perhaps one of the most troubling cases, not just for me as a judge, for the state, for the defense team, but for all of the citizens in this community, all the citizens in this state, and as we've seen based on the media coverage throughout the nation. You have a wife who's been killed, murdered, a son savagely murdered, a lawyer, a person from a respected family who has controlled justice in this community for over a century, a person whose grandfather's portrait hang at the back of the courthouse that I had to have ordered removed in order to ensure that a fair trial was had by both the state and the defense. And I've sat through the trial. Not only have I sat through the trial, but also as the presiding judge of the state grand jury, sat through and participated in the issuance of search warrants of various sorts, bond hearings, and have had to consider many things. And we have this case, and I'm also assigned to preside over 99 others, at least 99 other cases. Though testimony has come up regarding many of those other cases, I will not make any comment with regard to any other pending matter, as I have been assigned those cases as well. It's also particularly troubling, Mr. Murdaugh, because as a member of the legal community and a well-known member of the legal community, you've practiced law before me, and we've seen each other at various occasions throughout the years. And it was especially heartbreaking for me to see you go in the media from being a grieving father who lost a wife and a son to being the person indicted and convicted of killing them. And you've engaged in such duplicitous conduct here in the courtroom, here on the witness stand, and as established by the testimony throughout the time leading from the time of the indictment and prior to the indictment throughout the trial to this moment in time. Certainly, you have no obligation to say anything other than saying not guilty. And obviously, as appeals are probably expected or absolutely expected, I would not expect a confession of any kind. In fact, as I've presided over murder cases over the past 22 years, I have yet to find a defendant who could go there, who could go back to that moment in time when they decided to pull the trigger or to otherwise murder someone. I have not been able to get anyone, any defendant, even those who have confessed to being guilty, to go back and explain to me what happened at that moment in time when they opted to pull the trigger, when they opted to commit the most heinous crimes known to man. In this case, qualifies under our death penalty statute based on the statutory aggravating circumstances of two or more people being murdered by the defendant by one act or pursuant to one scheme or course of conduct. I don't question at all the decision of the state not to pursue the death penalty. But as I sit here in this courtroom and look around the many portraits of judges and other court officials and reflect on the fact that over the past century, your family, including you, have been prosecuting people here in this courtroom, and many have received the death penalty, probably for lesser conduct. Remind me of the expression you gave on the witness stand. Was it tangled?
Tangled web, we weave.
Oh, what tangled web we weave. What did you mean by that?
It meant when I lied, I continue to lie.
And the question is, when will it end? When will it end? And it's ended already for the jury because they've concluded that you continued to lie and lied throughout your testimony. And perhaps with all the throng of people here, they, for the most part, all believe, or 80, 90%, 99% believe that you continue to lie now when your statement of denial to the court. Perhaps you believe that it does not matter that there's nothing that can mitigate a sentence given the crimes that were committed. You know, a notice of alibi was filed in this case by counsel in November, and we conducted a hearing, pretrial hearing, in which you claimed to have been someplace else at the time the crime was committed. Then, after all of the witnesses placed you at the scene of the crime, at the last minute, or last minutes or days, you switch courses and admitted to being there. And then that necessitated more lies and continued to lie. And I say, where will it end? It's already ended for many who have heard you and concluded that it'll never end. But within your own soul, you have to deal with that. And I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you. I'm sure.
All day and every night.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they will continue to do so. And reflect on the last time they looked you in the eyes, as you looked the jury in the eyes. I don't know person who's always been such a gregarious, friendly person can cause your life to be tangled in such a weave web, such a situation that yours have spun into, and it's so unfortunate because you had such a lovely family of such friendly people, including you, and to go from that to this. You know, your license to practice law has been stripped away from you. You turned from lawyer to witness, and now have an opportunity to make your final appeal as an ex-lawyer. And it's almost, it's really surprising that you're waiving this right at this time. And if you opt to do so, it's on you. You're not compelled to say anything. But you have the opportunity to do so.
Judge, I tell you again, I respect this court, but I'm innocent. I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son, Paul.
Well, and it might not have been you. It might have been the monster you become when you take 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 opioid pills. Maybe you become another person. I've seen that before. The person standing before me was not the person who committed the crime, though it's the same individual.
On March 8th, a lawyer for Mallory Beach's family said that the wrongful death lawsuit against Alec is going to go to trial on August 14th. The family already reached a settlement with Maggie's estate and the surviving Murdaugh son, Buster. On March 9th, Alec filed an appeal of the double homicide charges of Maggie and Paul. I've heard a lot of commentators say that appeals getting accepted is very, very rare, particularly when the defendant has already testified on the stand.
So we'll wait and see what comes of that.
Whew, that was a doozy. Just reading it made me tired. I can't imagine living through it. But let me know what y'all think below. I'm going to use subsequent episodes to get into the family's backstory and all about the solicitors and that family lineage. But let me know what you think below, and I'll see y'all next time.